Now taking the good. 50-50.
At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Los Angeles Dodgers. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Spectrum. Hey, Mets fans, get the best TV, internet, and voice service today at Spectrum.com. By Cure Auto Insurance. Isn't it about time to switch your car insurance and save? Visit Cure.com today. By Good Humor, the official ice cream of the New York Mets. And by Citi, preferred card of the New York Mets. Well, the Mets have left the thin air of Denver behind. Hello, humidity. The Mets are back in town. They don't have buildings like this in Phoenix or in Atlanta. They don't have parks like this in Denver. And there's only one, Lady Liberty. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets open a 6-game homestand with the first of 3 against the defending National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers. The Mets come home 10 games under 500. The Dodgers at one time were 10 games under 500, but they have had a massive turnaround since that 16-26 start. 22-9. Matt Kemp out of nowhere has had a spectacular season. The Dodgers, despite injuries, have pitched very well, and whereas they were 9 games behind at one point in early May, they're now just 2.5 games behind the first-place Diamondbacks, and it hasn't necessarily been the guys you expected who've brought the Dodgers back to life.
Well, they had a year last year, Gary, where every player on that roster from the offensive side chipped in. This year, everybody's been kind of pedestrian. Cody Bellinger, last year's Rookie of the Year, is hitting .231. Hasn't had the power numbers. You said Matt Kemp has been a big reason. Max Muncy, picked up from Oakland, the second baseman, left-hand hitter, has done a good job, has driven in 30 runs. So they're getting it for some other guys, but the big guy in the lineup, and the big surprise is Matt Kemp, who is in the top 10 in hitting. He's driven in over 40 runs. He's having a spectacular year.
Well, Zach Wheeler will get the assignment for the Mets tonight to try and cool down the Dodgers, and Zach has really enhanced his pitching ability over the last 6 or 7 starts.
Well, I think everyone's falling in love that he's throwing 98 or 99 miles an hour. In fact, Zach said, I didn't know I still had it in me. But what I like is that his mechanics are allowing him to do that. They're much tighter under Dave Island and Mickey Callaway's watch. He's throwing the best baseball I think he's thrown in a Mets uniform.
Meanwhile, left-hander Alex Wood, who had a magical 2017, a little more pedestrian this year.
16 wins on 25 starts and 154 innings. This year has been struggling. His ERA is up a run and a half. The last time he was on a Citi Field mound was in the 3rd game of the 2015 NLDS when he gave up 4 runs in 2 innings.
8 starts against the Mets in his career. He's never beaten the Mets, the former Atlanta Brave. It's the Mets and the Dodgers at Citi Field. All the action coming your way on SNY. Mets take on the Dodgers at 1:10. The first 15,000 fans in attendance will receive a Mets cap, courtesy of Nathan's Famous. Plus, all kids 12 and under can run the bases postgame in the Mr. Med Dash presented by Northwell Health. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Play the bullpen jackpot sweepstakes from the New York Lottery, and you could win cash if a Mets player hits the home run off the New York Lottery sign. Current bullpen jackpot is $180,000. Go to sny.tv/New York Lottery to enter. Be at Citi Field Saturday, July 7th, when the Mets take on the Rays at 4:10 p.m. The first 25,000 fans in attendance will receive a Jacob deGrom bobblehead, courtesy of your local Ford dealers. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Mets are back in town, hoping for better times at Citi Field. Mets and Dodgers first pitch is coming right up. A seminal moment in the 2015 National League Division Series. Chase Utley breaking Ruben Tejada's leg on a dirty slide. Utley just activated today off the disabled list. He was out for 3 weeks with a sprained thumb, but he's not in the starting lineup for the Dodgers today. Brought to you by Hyundai. Jock Peterson has been red hot. Matt Kemp has had the best year of any Dodger, as the Dodgers are fourth in the National League in runs scored, and Zach Wheeler faces them tonight.
See his Toyota numbers, the nice numbers, that strikeout per almost inning pitched here for Wheeler. He could get a lot of strikeouts in tonight's game.
Jock Peterson takes a fastball for a strike, and we're underway. Peterson 8 home runs and a .400 batting average over the last 14 games after going the first 2 months of the season with only 1 home run. And he takes inside from Wheeler, a ball and a strike. Peterson has struggled most of last year, but then had a big World Series, hit 3 home runs in the World Series against the Astros. And he goes after the splitter from Wheeler, and it's 1-2.
Good pitch against Peterson. He just wants something dead red, and he wants to swing hard.
was very ebullient in the World Series with his home run trots.
Max Muncy on deck, then Justin Turner. And Peterson down on strikes to start the night.
Ooh.
High heat from Wheeler at 98 miles an hour, and his fastball velocity has certainly been enhanced of late.
Your Lexus Mets infield, there's a Mesoraco behind the plate. Wilmer Flores getting the lion's share now of playing at first base, getting a chance to play every day. See how that unfolds.
Well, here's Max Muncy, who's been playing some first base, some third base, tonight playing second base with Logan Forsythe sitting for the Dodgers. Muncy has been an enormous surprise, a guy who got a couple of cups of coffee with the A's in 15 and 16, hit a collective 195, got released the following spring, and was home for a month before the Dodgers signed him. They didn't really think much of him, but he was just a roster filler at AAA. But they called him up this year, and he's been a revelation.
Yeah, the most versatile thing about Max Muncy is his bat. They can find a place for him to be in the lineup.
13 home runs in just 146 at bats, and Wheeler picks off the inside corner, and it's 1-2.
6-year minor league career, only hit 60 home runs, so the 13 home runs so far this year is a big surprise.
1-2 coming, and it's upstairs, 2-2.
Gary and I were talking about before in Arizona, Wheeler was changed this year from 24 seconds in between pitches last year all the way down to 20 now, working very quickly.
Working faster, throwing harder, using his curveball more at last start. And that one's up the middle, and a nice stop by Rosario from his knees. He throws him out. Beautifully done by Ahmed Rosario. 2 down.
OUT.
I don't know what Max Muncy is doing. He's trying to call that he was safe. Play's not even close at first. Come on, Max.
Nice play by Rosario from his knees. And he is out.
I guess everyone thinks they're safe now, right? Because of the replay.
It puts a lot of pressure on the managers to pretend that they're holding the call and getting the call from the replay room. The whole thing's ridiculous.
Agreed.
Here's Justin Turner, who's still battling back from the broken wrist he suffered this spring. He's only had 97 at bats, and he really hasn't hit his stride at all. And he pops one up on the right side. Wilmer Flores takes charge of it. And it's a very easy 1-2-3 inning for Zach Wheeler, helped out by a fine play by Rosario. That's come to bat at the bottom of the first with no score. Brandon Nimmo leads off for the Mets against Alex Wood. Nimmo riding a 6-game hitting streak coming out of Colorado, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
I talked about that game that he pitched at Citi Field. The Land Rover numbers so far this year, his numbers are very similar to Zach Wheeler. Only 8 home runs allowed, no walks, only 15.
Well, he's got that herky-jerky motion, tough to pick up.
But everything went perfect for him last year. In fact, I think he was 11-0 at one point.
Pitching out of the stretch. Talked to Oral Hershiser before the game, and Oral said that this is a new change, and it wasn't initiated by Rick Honeycutt, the pitching coach. It was totally Alex Wood, is that he thought he had better location out of the stretch.
Right.
And Hershiser said, and I agree, your whole thing is your deceptive motion.
Wood said he was sitting in the dugout late last season and he had a revelation. He said hitters hit the same way whether there's a man on base or not. Why should pitchers pitch 2 different ways? And he saw the success that Steven Strasburg has had pitching out of the stretch, and he decided he wanted to do it all the time. And he strikes out Nimmo with the changeup for the first out. Vision Geico Mets starting lineup today. Jose Bautista, who's been getting on base with regularity, remains in there against the left-hander. Otherwise, the Mets with the usual cast of characters.
You know, I look at it this way. Yes, it's hitters hit one way, but why not give the hitter a couple of different looks? Nothing wrong with that.
I wonder whether with a guy like Wood, who's got a lot of moving parts, whether it's a matter of repeatable mechanics.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Gary.
It reminds me a little bit of Larry McWilliams. But Larry McWilliams had a quick pitch, but he had that funky, we used to call it, you know what, in elbows, Ronnie.
Yeah.
And it's hard to pick up. You've got to sit back there and totally eliminate a motion like this. And just focus on where his hand comes over his top of over his shoulder with the ball to be released.
Todd Frazier had 2 hits yesterday, including a home run against left-handers, and that's a step in the right direction. He's hitting just .154 against lefties.
That's the most to pull I've seen the third baseman and shortstop against Frazier. But I think a lot of it has to do with the left-handed pitcher, and Wood throws lots of changeups.
Alex Wood last year 16-3, 2.72 in just 25 starts, his first All-Star game appearance, and then he had a great postseason too. And a 2.51 ERA in 4 postseason appearances, including in the World Series, 7 2/3 innings, only 1 hit allowed.
Could have left him in there a little longer, is my opinion.
And Frazier goes after a high curveball and strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Wood to start his night.
And your Jeep Dodger defense, Turner just back. Cody Bellinger, last year's unanimous Rookie of the Year, has got a very fine glove at first base. Deacon, Wilson, Pickett, and out in the outfield, Kemp. Those days are pretty much gone for him. He's an offensive player now. Puig, 6 outfield assists in right field. That's second in the National League.
Did we put a silencer on the cannon?
Well,
we didn't hear it.
I silenced it.
Must have been you. Here's Cabrera back in the lineup after a day off yesterday after banging his elbow in the game on Wednesday night. And he takes outside ball 1. Nobody bounces back from the little hurts better than Asdrubal does, and he's been swinging the bat better after a slump that took him through a couple of weeks. He's 9 for his last 20.
Oh, he gave that changeup away. Do you see that, Ronnie?
yeah, it kind of slowed his motion
down. I'm very perceptive to those things, very keen. Because, boy, I made my living off anybody that did that.
That's first inning, trying to get one over for a strike. That won't work in the 5th. If you're still in there.
Wilmer Flores hitting cleanup against the left-hander, waiting on deck. And Cabrera bounces one foul. 2-2. Dodgers have withstood an enormous number of injuries to their starting pitchers. They had 6 starters on the DL until Rich Hill came back this week. That's pulled foul. But they've been able to hold their own, even though Wood hasn't had as good a year. Ross Stripling has saved their bacon. He's just done an outstanding job.
And their young starter who's hurt right now, a rib injury, Walker Buehler, was phenomenal for a month.
And tomorrow they get Clayton Kershaw back from the DL. That will certainly help them. Kershaw was originally supposed to throw a rehab start tomorrow in Omaha, but it's supposed to rain in Omaha, so they canceled that. Decided, let him pitch against the Mets instead.
How's the weather here tomorrow?
It's supposed to rain.
Oh.
There's the City Probables. Quite a matchup, DeGrom and Kershaw tomorrow night.
Nice.
And then Jason Vargas against Kenta Maeda Sunday. And Wood strikes out the side of the opening inning as he gets Cabrera with the curveball. So Wood off to a fast start, as is Wheeler. No score after 1 at Citi Field. Throwing off flat ground at Citi Field. Showing off the.
He's got some guns, right? Yeah. Well, all he needs is that one gun, the left-handed gun.
Well, he needed his back to stay sound. That's the biggest deal for Kershaw.
He and Billy the Kid.
But I mean, that's a great concern. And Kershaw is a guy who can opt out of his contract after this season if he chooses. But given his injuries the last couple of years, it's got to be a questionable thing, right?
I wouldn't do it.
Matt Kemp takes inside as we start the second inning. Kemp has had a resurgent year. 5th in the National League in batting. 5th in the National League in slugging percentage, despite a recent 0 for 12 skid. Last year in Atlanta, he had a decent year at 276, 19 home runs, but he is back to the elite level. His OPS higher than it's been any year since 2011, when he should have won the MVP.
That's right. Lost 50 pounds from last year when he played for Atlanta.
50?
50.
That's a lot of weight to lose.
No, that's
he lost at least 50. I mean, he was a big guy last year.
50 pounds.
And his bat was nice.
Very nice. There you go.
2 hands.
Nice.
Slide around the corner, and it's 2-2.
Kemp is leading the National League in road batting average. He is feasting on the road.
Spent the first 9 years of his career with the Dodgers, back for a second helping, and he goes down swinging on a foul tip. Second strikeout for Wheeler, who's retired the first 4.
Split to the right-hander, Keith.
That's made the difference for for Zach. Throw it hard, keep it down.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Cody Bellinger. who, when Wheeler made a start in LA last year, hit 2 home runs and 2 at-bats against Zach. Among the 39 home runs he hit as a rookie last year, it's been a little tougher sledding in his sophomore season.
Zach gave up 7 earned runs in those 2 innings pitched in Los Angeles, but it wasn't only him.
Yeah, he had plenty of company.
The Dodgers played home run derby against the Mets last year.
The Dodgers swept all 7 games from the Mets last season, including 4 at Dodger Stadium, and they've now beaten the Mets 9 straight games dating back to 2016. And Wheeler overmatches Bellinger with a high fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Zach, and he's fanned 3 of the first 5.
78 strikeouts now on the year for Bellinger. And I saw him a lot last year, particularly in the World Series. And I was very curious, that ball's thrown right by him, as to what kind of year he'd have in his sophomore year. And I'm not surprised that he's having a hard time. He's got such a big swing.
Now Yasiel Puig. And it's been a struggle for Puig after a 28 home run season last year and 3 more in the postseason. Puig now 27 years old. Last year was his best big league season since his burst on the scene. It was a walkover last year for the Dodgers, 57-15. 25 home runs in the 7 games. Wow. And they beat the Mets by 3 or more runs in every one of them. It was not competitive. It was when the Dodgers were in that 52-9 stretch. They got off to a bad start last year, much as they did this year, and then they went on that historic run.
Didn't Seager have a big home run game?
He had left field. He left the left field.
2 home runs opposite field.
Was Corey Seager's out for the year for the Dodgers after blowing out his elbow, and that's been part of the concern for LA, trying to figure out how to fill that spot. They moved Chris Taylor over there from the outfield to play shortstop, but he is struggling.
That's a pitch that Puig 2 years ago would always swing at. He's had a lot better plate discipline for Dave Roberts.
3-2 coming, and he struck him out. Another fastball, and Wheeler strikes out the side. Last 6 batters in this game have all struck out. Where's this one going? Wilmer Flores leads off the home second. Wilmer 5 for 19 since coming off the disabled list. He lines one the other way, and he's got the first hit for either side tonight. So Wilmer first pitch swinging takes Wood the other way.
Well, you got a sinker ball pitcher here. And what's his bread and butter to a right-hand hitter? A sinker ball pitcher is that sinker down and away.
You're so right, Keith. You know, we sometimes forget about the intelligence of Flores. He sees everyone being pitched away, so he decides to go that way.
And Wilmer has got a little struggle against left-handers this year.
It was under 200 coming into the day.
He's missed a lot of time too.
Now here's Conforto coming off a good series in Colorado where he went 7 for 16. That's found their offense the last couple of games in Arizona and then in Colorado. 42 runs in the last 6 games.
Let's hope they keep it up at sea level here.
Not quite as easy, is it? See the difference between this year and last year for Conforto. Of course, last year he wasn't coming off major shoulder surgery. Justin Turner playing in the middle of the triangle on the right side. Hernandez alone on the left side. Curveball stays inside 1-2.
See the left fielder Kemp way down the line. Why? Because the shift opens up that they don't want to prevent the double, but you can still get the double in that gap.
And not Wilmer now because he doesn't have the speed, but you know, a ground ball to the right side hits slowly where they have to go to first base. If you had speed, you go all the way to third if the infielders aren't heads up.
Daniel Murphy play.
Yeah, there you go.
Dodgers should remember that. He did it against them. That's a double play ball hit to Turner. The turn by Hernandez too slow and they couldn't get the double play. So that's a 5-6 fielder's choice, but it took Hernandez so long to get rid of that. It was no chance to double up Conforto.
You know, Gary, it's a bad throw by Turner. I think that's why it took him so long. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Keith.
Not that bad. I just don't think that Kike is shortstop is his strong position. He had to stretch a little bit. I mean, Conforto he runs well.
We'll also handcuff Turner on the initial ground ball.
Yep.
So Conforto at first with one out. Here's Jose Bautista, and he lines one into center field for a base hit. So Bautista, who's been drawing a ton of walks lately, this time jumps on a first pitch as Wilmer did earlier in the inning. And the Mets have a couple of men on.
First pitch, breaking ball right down Broadway. There's the hit. That's what the hitter sees, folks, right there. That is the deception of Wood, that front shoulder. That was a terrific angle right there for you to get an idea of what it's like as a hitter against the funky motion of Alex Wood.
See Bautista, who got on base 7 times out of 10 in Colorado, now on base again his first time up today. Here's Mesoraco, first and second, one out. Devin went 5 for 12 over the last 4 games.
Wood went right back to that first pitch slider. First time through the lineup for a pitcher, you feel as though you can get away with any breaking ball first strike. Should be able to first pitch.
A hitter's more inclined, okay, I'm going to look at it and get a bead on it and see what he's got. You're right, Ronnie. And as a hitter, you go there and go, okay, I took a fat one right there, but oh, all right, that's the way it goes. Hang with it. Move forward.
Don't throw it again.
Yes.
Don't look back. Someone might be gaining that. One to Mesoraco with Rosario on deck.
Now, I always think of Wood at this point in his career that you're going to see a change up 2-1. He wants a ball on the ground with 1 out. Down and away. If you try to pull it.
You got that whole right side of the infield. And Mesoraco got a base hit to right field in Colorado, Ron, where he he takes such a vicious swing, but he really shortened up and with the full intent to go to the opposite field. Now right now, a base hit, a ground ball, that right side sets up, scores a run, also sets up first and third.
That was an 0-2 situation. Mesoraco went to right field. Here he's got a 3-1, so he looks to unload. He's got a home run in his career and 6 at-bats against Alex Wood. Conforto at second, Bautista at first with 1 out. And Mesoraco takes inside, ball 4. Well, with a 3-1 curveball, and the Mets have the bases loaded.
Interesting choice. I guess that is that's a little respect from Mesoraco, and it's looking at the 8th place hitter and the pitcher afterwards saying, I can get these 2 guys out.
Well, except it's an 8th place hitter who's been swinging the bat much better lately. Rosario's got a career high 7-game hitting streak working.
I don't want to load the bases.
No, me either. I'd have to challenge something down and away.
And Wood's been walking very few, just 1.8 per 9 innings, second best control mark in the league. So now Rosario shoots 1 foul. At 9 for 26 during this 7-game hitting streak. Mets struggled in bases loaded situations in Colorado, culminating yesterday and getting into 5 double plays, tying a club record for most in a 9-inning game.
Gabe Morales is calling that high strike. So if you're an offensive player, you have to know that already.
There's the umpiring quartet. Gabe Morales behind the plate. Ed Hickox at first. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, and then Chris Siegel, the young umpire, at third.
See Austin Barnes checking his wristband. He's got his Cliff Notes in there.
Says don't throw him a strike. Grounded slowly. Nice pickup by Turner. Gets the out at home for the second out of the inning. Barnes had to reach back a second time to make sure he touched the plate. But on that slowly hit grounder, the right play by Turner to come home.
Came in quick to get the short hop. Barnes has got the plate covered. Clean slide. You got that foot there. That's the way it goes.
So now it's left to Wheeler with the bases loaded and 2 out. Zach's been swinging the bat better this year than in the past. He's got 6 hits, 2 RBIs, hitting .240.
Something has clicked in all the parts of Zach Wheeler's game.
You know what really clicked for him this week? He didn't have to pitch in Colorado.
That's a good one.
That'll put you in a good mood.
That's good timing. Curveball up and in, 1-1.
Although you never know in that place, you could have it off, and next thing you know, hey, it's your day to throw on the side. Why don't you go down and put some spikes on? You never know. Or
you could have a Logan Verrett kind of a game.
Yeah, that's right.
You can mosey on down to Ted's, Montana, and have yourself some bison burgers.
They're supposed to be leaner.
They are lean. It's the only short ribs I'll get, because short ribs are very greasy.
Yeah, yeah.
And the buffalo is not. It's a very lean beast.
Leaner than elk?
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, Gary.
1-2 coming to Wheeler, and he struck him out to end the inning. So Wood gets out of a bases loaded jam, his 4th strikeout of the night. Justin Turner helped him out. Nice short hop pickup to get the force at the plate. And the Mets do not score in the second. 6 up, 6 down with 4 strikeouts.
You know what's interesting about Zach, when we see the G pitch cast, it's working up in the zone in the last inning. 3 strikeouts, all at that top of the strike zone or over. Yep. And we have not seen him use that top of the strike zone as much as DeGrom, but certainly did in that inning.
Well, I've been preaching all year that pitchers need, with the new approach to having the hitters swing up, and that they're more vulnerable upstairs. And when you got a live fastball like Zach, boy, you're not going to catch up to it.
Kike Hernandez leads off in the 3rd, takes a strike.
Watch it, preacher.
Well, that's maybe fun. Jacob DeGrom will be joining us from the dugout during the 4th inning.
Boy, that's nice. Well,
finally got him some runs, didn't they?
How about 8 with 1 earned run, 8 innings?
Yeah,
Colorado
in that park. And he struggled a little bit in the beginning, but he just knows how to pitch until he finds his rhythm.
Hit sharply by Hernandez the other way, and the Dodgers have their first hit of the night.
Fastball outer half. Let that ball get deeper into the batting, into the zone when you hit the ball away.
So Hernandez aboard to lead off.
I'm sorry, I hate that term zone, but I've got to be contemporary.
Here's Austin Barnes, the catcher, and he takes a strike. Barnes not having the year he did last year when he had 289 in a part-time role.
They're not getting it from Chris Taylor, who had a big year for him last year. He's on the bench. He's hitting on the interstate. He's got 80 strikeouts on the season. He was a big part of that team last year.
Monty Grandal has gotten the bulk of the work behind the plate. Barnes, a guy who can play other places too. They've used him at second base some. Got a lot of moving pieces on this Dodger team. You have Taylor who can play the infield and the outfield. Hernandez, Barnes who can catch and play the infield. Most of the better teams tend to have that kind of versatility, particularly in the National League, where the benches have become so small,
right,
with increased numbers of relievers. One and two to Barnes with the pitcher Wood on deck. And a half swing. It's in there for a call, third strike. Wheeler gets his 5th strikeout, this time on the slider.
Back, Ronnie, when you and I played, and there was 6 men on the bench. I wasn't required to have all these utility guys. Usually your backup outfielders, you either had a guy that can play all 3 outfield positions or just the corner. You always had utility infielders that can play second, third.
Here's Wood, who does not have a hit this year. 0 for 22, has 3 sacrifices. He'll be asked to bunt here.
I know when I was a kid, this is how the game was played. And for the Red Sox, they used to give out a 10th player award. And it was given out to the guy on the bench who was the most versatile, who could come in and play a lot of different positions, who was great coming off the bench. That's something that would be, you wouldn't even think about giving out a 10th player award now.
When we were kids, collected baseball cards, there'd be that one guy on each team as Wood swings away and fouls it off, who would be listed as infielder, outfielder.
That's right.
Jimmy Stewart, remember him? Played for the Reds.
Left-hand hitter.
The guy who used to win it for the Red Sox when I was a kid all the time, John Kennedy. Do you remember who that player was?
0-2 now to Wood with Peterson on deck.
Well, we can even take it a little bit later in Met history. Bob Baylor.
Oh, there you go. Who traded to the Dodgers.
How about Kevin Mitchell? Joe McEwing.
That's right. Wood's got to watch. Watch his right hand. He's got to watch where he puts that on the bat. If he ever hits a bunt there, he will have that right hand crushed, fingers crushed.
David Cohn, Candlestick Park.
You're supposed to pinch it with your pointer finger and thumb behind the bat. He just grips it like a golf club.
Gets the bunt down nicely with 2 strikes. Frazier makes the play. 5-4 on the sacrifice, moving Hernandez to second.
Alex, I'm criticizing your bunt style, and you've got a perfect bunt down. I'm just fearful for his hand. If that ball runs up and in on you, it could just clip your middle finger and pointer finger. It's very dangerous.
So 2 on the runner at second for Jock Peterson, who struck out to open the game. Runner taking off from third, and Wheeler's throw can't get him as Frazier couldn't close the ground in time. And Hernandez steals third.
Did Morales just call a balk on Wheeler? I think he called a balk on Wheeler. See how he moved? He moved before he threw it. Good call by Morales.
So it will go into the books as a balk, but it's a situation where when you're playing that third baseman so far off the line, it's hard for him to get there to cover.
Now, it's just an ugly play. The Mets have done it all year. They'd rather play a defensive position than to put up any defense against a guy stealing third.
Time is called. First career balk for Wheeler. And that prevents Kike Hernandez from picking up his first stolen base of the year.
Well, that's a way to stop the running game.
It's better for your stats. Peterson gets a foul tip that caught Mesoraco.
The backswing catches his glove. Well, Peterson, no reaction. Like
He didn't know. You don't think he knew?
Don't you always know? No?
I don't know, but he obviously wasn't aware, and he's just an all-or-nothing hitter. You can gas him upstairs.
That's what Wheeler did the last time. This time he comes inside, and it's 2-1. Max Muncy would be next. Splitter low and away, 3-1. Cool night for the second night of summer. Temperature in the upper 60s.
Oh, nice.
Right back to the splitter, and it's 3-2.
The splitter has really made the difference for Zach.
It's because they can't just guess on a heater like Peterson did right there.
I'm telling you, the split finger has been frowned upon of late. It was a pitch I did not like.
And it's a third with 2 out. 3-2 coming to Peterson. And he drives one out to center, slicing away from Conforto. He makes a great catch. Oh, wow. That ball was well struck, and it kept on working its way away from Conforto, who makes a brilliant catch to save a run. Lagares-esque. Conforto with a beauty to keep the Dodgers off the board.
As good as it gets.
going. And somehow brought it home. Still no score at Citi Field. Home third inning, Brandon Nimmo up for the second time. Leads off against Alex Wood, who struck him out his first time up. And Nimmo fouls back a fastball, 0-1. Nimmo, Frazier, and Cabrera all struck out against Wood in the first inning. It's only the second time in Wood's career he's ever struck out the side in the first inning. First time was earlier this year. Grounded down to Bellinger at first. He'll take it himself to retire Nimmo, 1 out. Watch SNY Mets games on the go on any device with live streaming presented by Verizon. Just visit SNY.TV or download the NBC Sports app today for live streaming coverage of every SNY Mets game. Cloudy night in New York. Rain expected tomorrow.
Maybe a doubleheader Sunday, Gary.
I'll make an appearance at the park on Sunday. Not in the booth.
It's Todd Frazier.
You're such a team player.
No, Gary's lovely wife Lynn put together a book signing of my autobiography. And I think she brought a whole boatload of people to the ballpark tomorrow. So I'll be signing before the game.
Sunday,
yeah. Yes.
Turner backs off to play the ground ball on the backhand and throws out Frazier, 2 out. Well, I can promise you, Keith, they'll be some of your most ardent admirers.
Well, and you know, Lynn, I appreciate what Lynn did. She put this all together. Over 300 people. That means over 300 books. It means 300 signatures and 300 photos.
I thought you were doing some other math in your head. Two out and nobody on now as Dribble Cabrera, who struck out his first time up. Fly ball out to right, and Puig edges over. Side retired. Alex Wood sets the Mets down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. Let's keep it here at Citi Field for the veteran of the game.
First Data salutes our veteran of the game.
Thanks to the greatest military force across the globe, America remains land of the free and home of the brave. During each Mets home game, we recognize a veteran of the game, and here is our honoree.
Sergeant Doug Wadsworth of the United States Marine Corps served our country for 8 years, including support of relief efforts after September 11th. And here he is, our Mets veteran of the game, New York native, Doug Wadsworth. Presenting Doug with an American flag that is flown over Citi Field is Mets catcher Kevin Plawecki. First Data salutes those who serve.
First Data and SNY salute the veteran of the game, along with those service members who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our nation and at the service of the entire military community. Zach Wheeler, and we are very happy to be joined from the Mets dugout by Jacob deGrom. Jake, thanks so much for joining us. This has been such a spectacular year for you so far. How would you compare yourself now to what you were, say, 2 or 3 years ago as a pitcher?
I think I just try to avoid the big inning. You know, get runners on and really bear down and try to make my pitches. You know, before I would try to get like a double play or something. Now I'm trying to strike guys out when I get guys on base.
Striking out 4 times you've had the bases loaded, you've gotten out of it each and every time. So are you just trying to stay in the moment instead of thinking about maybe an outcome of what happens from a certain pitch and just try to execute that pitch?
Yeah, I think try to execute that pitch. You know, what's happened is out of your control. All you can control is what's going to happen. So the main focus is one pitch at a time and make the best pitch I can in that situation.
Jacob, I got to ask you, you had a brilliant start up in Coors Field. We all know you pitched there before, but it looked to me early in the game you were kind of trying to find it. When you go into a start at Coors Field, do you have to, that first couple innings, do you have to find your breaking ball? Is there anything that you do to get your rhythm quickly?
That's interesting because in the bullpen it wasn't very good, and I didn't want to keep throwing down there and wear myself out. So I was like, you know, I'm going to have to figure out how to make an adjustment in the game. So going into it, I knew it wasn't as good as it has been. And, you know, Devin stuck with me and, you know, put down changeup and slider quite a bit. And we were able to figure it out as the game went on.
You know, Jake, one of the things that really interests me is that I was lucky. Never had one of those injuries early in my career that you had, where you missed an entire season. How difficult was it as you see people kind of go up a notch above you while you're not able to pitch and then work your way back up that ladder?
Yeah, that was difficult. You know, I pitched very little in Kingsport, you know, in rookie ball, and then I get injured and I miss a full year, so now you don't know what the team thinks of you. So I honestly think it helped me out just because I was pretty new to pitching, and during rehab, my main thing was to try to get my elbow above my shoulder because I was more low 3/4, and they said it would put more stress on my elbow. So it was kind of redefining my throwing motion.
You know, Jake, you've grown up in the major leagues during the analytics revolution, and I know there's so much information available to you guys that might not have been available even 5 years ago. Are there particular things that you look at that you find to be helpful? Is the bulk of the analytics overwhelming? Can you focus on the things that you need?
Yeah, I just try to focus on the stuff that I need. I try to look at what guys have done against me, and then go from there. As the game goes on, kind of, some days I have a pretty good feel for my curveball, some days I don't. So pitches depending on the feel for them, and then kind of the swings guys are taking off me. You know, you never know how a guy's feeling that day. You know, he could be feeling a little under the weather or something and you don't know that, and you can go right after him with fastballs, and you just kind of read swings.
You know, Jake, this is more of a fan's question, but you've been such a pro's pro throughout that whole ordeal where you weren't getting a lot of runs, and saying, I think, what you have to do as a starting pitcher, I think it's almost like karma. You have to say the right things and just hope at some point it turns around.
Yeah, definitely. You know, baseball's a tough game. It's not easy to get up there and hit. I try to control what I can control, and that's trying to go out there and put up zeros and giving these guys a chance to win. You know, those games, it felt like that I pitched, we were, you know, one good swing away from winning the game. So, you know, a couple things were different. Maybe I'd have a couple more wins, but you know, that's just how the game is.
You know, getting back on the analytics bench, I know you have all the information as Gary mentioned, but going into a game, you've been around long enough. Do you know going in without even having to look at anything, what hitters give you the most trouble, and look at that lineup and this guy's not going to beat me? You know going in?
Yeah, definitely. There's only a few guys in a lineup that'll hurt you, and those are the guys that you know, you really got to execute pitches on. And going into the game, you normally know who that is, and you normally face them, so you know how you want to get them out. That's when you really got to focus and make your pitch.
I guess a two-part question off of Keith's. One, who gives you the most trouble? And two, I know you're trying to stay in the present. Do you give thought to being one of the best of your generation of pitchers right now? Do you give any thought to that?
Honestly, I try not to think about it too much. I just try to take it one day at a time, and each day you get better. And then who's giving me the most trouble, I'm not really sure. I feel like Freddie Freeman's always a tough out for me. He'll try to take me deep early on and then flip a ball over the shortstop's head, it seems like.
Just to piggyback on what Ronnie just asked, you know, tomorrow you get Kershaw. When you face a guy who has been acknowledged as, you know, one of the elite pitchers of this or any other generation, does it change at all the dynamic of the game for you?
Not really. You like to think that it's going to be a close game, so you got to eliminate your mistakes and try to keep those guys off the board. So you know, it's kind of my mentality when I go out there anyways. I don't want to give up any runs, and I just take that same approach.
Well, Jake, thanks so much for taking the time with us. Good luck tomorrow, and continued success. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jake.
Jake DeGrom joining us from the Mets dugout, and a lot of very good insight there, I think, into his entire approach to pitching.
You know, it's interesting, and this is not to denigrate anyone else, but you know, while everyone seems to be branding themselves and trying to, you know, be a certain cartoon, whatever you want to be. He goes out to Leonard Skinner's simple man each and every time he pitches in this ballpark, and I think that's what he's done better than the most. He's kept it simple. You know, he's gone after hitters. He's been aggressive. I don't care if he was pitching in the 40s, 50s, and right now he's excellent. You know, when I think of Jacob the way he's pitching now, if he were raised in our generation or the generation prior, he'd be a guy who would complete 10 or 12 games.
No doubt.
He would throw 5 or 6 shutouts a year easily. It's a different game now.
He would be on our 5-man rotation in the 80s.
Through the vacated hole, and Turner's got himself a base hit. Muncy might have gone to third. He was running on the pitch, but decided to play it safe and stopped to second. So it has the effect of a hit and run single. Muncy running on the 3-2 pitch, and the Dodgers have the first 2 men on.
Oh, Rosario broke a little bit too quick, even though that ball's in the hole. You got to hold there a little bit longer.
It's always interesting when you cover with the shortstop with the right-handed hitter up.
So the Dodgers have a threat here in the 4th in a scoreless game. Matt Kemp, who struck out his first time up. And he flies one out to center. Conforto steadies. Muncy tagging, but he's not going anywhere, and that's the first out.
Big out there.
There's pitching up in the strike zone. You saw the reaction after the swing of Kemp. It was a ball he just missed right on, but it was above the letters, and he couldn't get on top of it. Watch his reaction. Look at the location. Yep, there's one I missed.
Kemp is now 0 for his last 14. First real slump he's gone through this year. And now Cody Bellinger, who was struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Miller comes inside, ball 1.
No, Bellinger has a big swing. He's a classic old school cleanup hitter. Takes a big hack. Very dangerous, but he can be pitched to.
That's line to center, right at Conforto, 2 out. So Conforto's been busy the last couple of innings. Cody Bellinger, Rookie of the Year last year. Corey Seager, Rookie of the Year the year before. The Dodgers have dominated the Rookie of the Year balloting since it began in 1947.
Yes, they have.
In fact, it's even named for the first guy who won it, Jackie Robinson, the National League Rookie of the Year award. They've had 2 stretches where they won 5 consecutive Rookies of the Year. Here's Puig, who struck out his first time up. And he breaks his bat, rolls it down to Frazier. The running throw in time to get Puig. Side retired. Nice job by Wheeler to find his way out of trouble in the 4th. Just like the guy we talked to, DeGrom. No score. Doug Williams and SNY MLB insider Andy Martino discuss whether Yoenis Cespedes can still be an impact player, plus what the future holds for Sandy Alderson on the latest Shea Anything podcast. Search Shea Anything and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Speaking of Sandy, it was the first day of a homestand, which means Sandy had his usual first day of the homestand press conference. And the one point that he made was, and it's a fairly simple one, he said, we have to win more games, and we have to do that almost immediately. So I thought that was interesting, just in terms of the urgency of the moment for this team and this franchise that figures out where it's going. 10 games under 500 on the second day of summer.
Well, my feeling is, from this point to the All-Star break, there's got to be a move made in a positive direction.
Wilmer taps one slowly.
Oh,
nice
nice
play by Wood coming off the mound. 1 out. Showing good range.
He's got a good wingspan, Alex Wood.
And there's that old sinker. Got him to roll it over.
It's always weird when you have to make that play as a pitcher, because you're running downhill, you know, and it's your head's bobbing. You try to keep it as straight as you can.
Here's Conforto, grounded into a force play his first time. Well, there have been 29 teams in Major League history who've started 11-1 or better, but the Mets have the worst record ever among those 29 teams over the ensuing 60 games, 20 and 40. So where does that leave you? Well, it leaves you 11.5 games out of first place. A distant memory in the wild card race as well, and it means that, you know, to Sandy's point about where this team is at and whether they're going to be sellers, they need an enormous rush over the next month. Trading deadline now 5.5 weeks away. Conforto strikes out on a breaking ball in the dirt, and that's the second out of the inning.
It was in the dirt, but I don't think he fouled it off, so it doesn't matter.
5 strikeouts now for Wood, who's now set down 7 in a row. And here's Jose Bautista, who singled to center field his first time up. And again, first pitch swinging. Pops one up into behind second base. And Muncy puts it away to retire the side. 8 in a row retired by Wood. No score after 4. Ever looked in his major league career. He's got 4 scoreless innings under his belt tonight. He's worked around some traffic in the last 2 innings as he gets set to face the Dodgers in the 5th. Kike Hernandez to lead it off for LA.
Good to watch Kike here, because he just had a base hit to right field. Frazier's playing deep, loves to drop a bunt hit to lead off an inning.
Hernandez, who has sneaky power, 10 home runs this year. 3 against the Cubs in the LCS last year. And he takes up an away ball 1. Hernandez, who has already played 7 different positions this year, as he did last year. And he grounds one right to Cabrera. 1 out. So for the first time in the last 3 innings, Wheeler retires the leadoff hitter.
I really love the way Wheeler's throwing. This has been a long time coming. He is a late bloomer.
But I don't, you know, we say that, and you're right, Keith. But we sometimes forget that this young man missed 2 seasons of pitching. You know, if I missed my 25th and 26th year pitching, that's a lot of W's, a lot of good pitching, you know?
Well, not only the 2 years, but then even last year, only 86 innings when he came back. So this is like, it's his first real season in 4 years.
That's a good point, Gary. So 2.5 years he kind of missed, right?
Austin Barnes took a call, 3rd strike, his first time up. And he shatters his bat. And Wheeler with the underhand toss, 2 out. He's broke a few bats tonight.
Has a chance here too with the pitcher up to have a quick inning, knocking on wood, which is so healthy in the 5th and 6th inning.
If he knocks out Wood.
There you go. Pardon the pun.
They look comfortable.
They always seem to have a lot of fun in those seats.
Wheeler's retired the last 5 batters on only 9 pitches after giving up a couple of base runners in the 4th. Wood sacrificed his first time up. Is it just me, or does every pitcher now bat opposite the way he throws?
It seems like that, right?
I mean, for the Mets, it's everybody except Vargas.
Yeah, Vargas lefty.
But DeGrom and Syndergaard and Wheeler and Matz all hit from the opposite side.
Well, saying Wood hits from the opposite side, swings from the opposite side.
Attempts to hit.
Yeah.
0 for 22 this year.
They're laughing because literally he hit that sideways. That'd be a shank in golf.
I know today that they have the dugouts screened in. In our day, they didn't. But every time a pitcher came up and we were on the opposite side, I was always kept my eye on the pitcher swinging the bat, because they can line one right into you, being tardy.
And Wheeler gets him looking to end the inning. 6 strikeouts for Zach through the first 5 innings. He has a 1-2-3 top of the 5th. We're halfway through at Citi Field with no score. Telecast will be Monday night when the Mets play the opener of their series with the Pirates. First look at the new look Pirates. Very strange to see them without Andrew McCutchen anymore.
You know, one of the things that I think is a constant theme with most of the teams in the league, other than the real quality teams, is that they've had great streaks of success and great streaks of non-success, and the Pirates have had that also. They started out quite strong.
A couple of games under 500 right now, and you know, they made the two big deals, trading away McCutchen and Garrett Cole to get back some young talent, and it's worked out in certain aspects. Like Colin Moran's playing really nicely for them at third base, but still those guys were such linchpins of that franchise. I think there's an adjustment period, right, when you make moves that enormous. Devin Mesoraco leads off in the home fifth. Mesoraco drew the only walk from Wood. That came in the second when the Mets loaded the bases with one out.
Oh.
And a bad cut at a curveball, 0-1.
It's when you're guessing express and you get the little breaking ball. I'm going to kill this fastball. Oh, it's not a fastball.
It's called getting fooled.
Lower third of the order for the Mets in the fifth. Mesoraco, Rosario, and Wheeler. Been an uneven season for Alex Wood, but he comes off a good start his last time out. He went 5 2/3, gave up only 1 run against the Giants, and scoreless so far tonight.
Yeah, he beat Madison Bumgarner. We showed a graphic earlier. It really is, you know, just allowing more runs this year. Last year his ERA was great. It's a 1.5 more this year.
His walks are down. His strikeouts are slightly down. His home run rate's about the same. His hit rate is about the same. So it's just he's given up more hits in a row that have produced runs.
It'd be interesting. I always think what is the pitchers, or what are the hitters' batting average against you with runners in scoring position? That's a big number.
Well, with all that, his ERA up 1.5. Top toward third. Tough play for Turner. Uses the glove, and he can't get Mesoraco. That's a play you got to barehand if you want to have any chance.
I don't think he had a chance either way.
So an infield hit for Mesoraco, the Mets' third hit of the night.
Mesoraco can run a little bit.
Yes, he can.
For a big fella.
Well,
make a good pitch. Guy makes weak contact. Is that more frustrating than the line drives you give up?
You know, it's a hang with him. You did your job. Now get the next guy. But I wouldn't say it's more frustrating. The most frustrating is when you give him about 3 or 4 line drives in a row, and you're like, uh-oh. What am I doing wrong out here?
So if they hit 3 bleeders in a row at Dunbody?
3 bleeders in a row will get you a little upset. But there's nothing you can do.
Rosario gets jammed and fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Ahmed grounded into that force at the plate that Turner initiated in the second. Wheeler on deck. Well, the Mets are back home where their last homestand resulted in the lowest batting average by the home team on any homestand of 7 games or more in the history of baseball. And here they are again. That's line down the left field line, and Rosario just missed an extra base hit.
A little bit too quick on that hanger. Oh, the guy brought his glove, got an easy hop.
I think he can foul off that pitch that's up and away. It's the pitch that's up and in that he has a hard time handling. Just a free swinger early in his career.
I guess the question is, how much is he going to have to discipline himself in order to become the player that he'd like to become?
Boy, I think you probably asked this question 15 years ago, didn't you?
It's a fine line.
With Jose Reyes?
Let him find his way. Either he finds his way or he doesn't.
He carves that one into shallow center. Peterson coming on. He can't get it. Base hit. Mesoraco heading for second, and he makes it safely. Good base running by Mesoraco. A blue pit for Rosario, and the Mets have the first 2 men on to the 5th.
A bleeder and a bloop. Sets up a sacrifice for Mr. Wheeler. Very critical sacrifice here in the 5th inning. Watch Mesoraco base running. Come out here halfway. Didn't go back and forth.
The strangest part of that play, good base running by Mesoraco. Why was Hernandez not on second base as a first baseman awaiting a throw? You had a force play. Or a chance at a force play.
That's the best thing you can say in his defense is he's not a natural shortstop.
And don't tell me you're versatile at every position.
That doesn't mean you're a Gold Glove at every position.
Both corner infielders tight, putting pressure on Wheeler to get that bunt down.
Boy, there's not much space there with Bellinger and Turner coming as hard as they both were there. You'd certainly be tempted to have them swing.
They had the wheel play on too. Kike Hernandez broke to third base.
You know, you would hope this would be something that your advanced scouts would already let you know, and you would have been swinging the bat on the first pitch. There was a fastball right down the middle.
Now look how tight Muncy at second base is holding on. He's going to have to bust to get to first base.
We'll run the wheel again, and Wheeler lays off.
He's not even going to first, Keith. They're going to make the play either at third or second.
Exactly right. So, you know what? You just take your normal lead.
Yeah, and Wheeler's now going to get the face-to-face from Glenn Sherlock, and I'm sure he's telling him if they run the wheel, swing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's generally what pitchers are told in that spot. If they run that wheel, if you see it, swing away.
You have to be careful, though. Sometimes they'll run it twice and then fake it. So
that's what Bobby Valentine used to do. But they show wheel again, and he does swing, and now it's 1-2.
If they are coming in this hard, don't fake it. Just take your regular hack, because sometimes when you fake it, you don't get that good swing.
Now you don't run the wheel with 2 strikes, do you?
No,
not very often.
I wouldn't run the wheel now that he swung the bat with 2 strikes. No, definitely not.
And he foul tips it for strike 3, and that's the first out of the inning.
I think that wheel just confused the Mets and Wheeler.
I still would have kept the bunt on. You got a pitcher up there, you're paid to get the bunt down, lay down a good bunt.
6 strikeouts now for Wood, so Wheeler can't advance him, and Nimmo bats with first and second and 1 out. Brandon has struck out and grounded out tonight, 0 for 2. Wheeler's given up 2 hits, Wood's given up 4. Fly ball down the left field line, slicing, foul.
So on that play there, and I don't know how the Mets think about this, but I was told that if you're going to bunt in that situation and they're coming hard and they're playing where Muncy's playing at second base, you bunt the ball hard to the second baseman. If you don't bunt it hard enough and the pitcher gets it, what's the pitcher's play? He's got to beat you to first. It's the only play they have. He can't get it and go the other way, or it's difficult anyway for a pitcher to make that play.
You think that's a level of sophistication in bunt offense that even gets talked about anymore?
Probably not. I wish it would. You know, that's how you can combat those defenses.
It seems like there aren't that many teams even bothering to run a wheel anymore. They're happy to take the out and go from there. Mesoraco at second, Rosario at first with 1 out. And Nimmo fouls off the changeup, and it's 0-2.
Throwing a lot of changeups in them all. Have you noticed that? Down and in. Pitch that Brandon hasn't seen a lot of from lefties.
Used to be nobody saw that from lefties.
Right.
And he goes down swinging on another changeup for the second out. So Wood, after giving up a couple of soft hits, produces back-to-back strikeouts. That's 7 for the night.
You get ahead 0-2, what do? Don't throw a strike. Don't throw him something they can put in play. The grip turns it over, but the placement of the pitch, it appears to be a strike until the very end.
That's cut down their strikeouts the last 2 days at Coors Field. Only 12 in the last 2 games, but 7 in the first 5 innings today. Left to Frazier now with 2 out, and he takes a changeup for a strike.
Barnes stole that for Alex Wood, the catcher, with a little move with his glove at the very end, might have stolen that pitch.
Frazier pulls one foul. Nice play off the tarp by the ball boy. 0-2. Asdrubal Cabrera would be next, but Wood right on the edge of getting out of some big trouble in the 5th.
It was a show me pitch, something up around the letters, so he can come back either with a back foot slider or his favorite pitch tonight anyway is that changeup down and out of the strike zone.
Doesn't seem like he's throwing many fastballs for strikes all night.
Pitches around the strike zone with his fastball.
And Frazier lays off that changeup. 2-2. Todd 1 for 8 in his career against Alex Wood. Two on, 2 out, 2-2 to Frazier. And that missed inside and low. 3-2. So that'll give the runners a start. Mesoraco and Rosario will be going.
If Frazier can think about that right field, right center field that he was able to perfect early in the season, that'd be good.
24th pitch of the inning for Wood. And Frazier pulls one toward the hole and snagged nicely by Turner, who throws him out. And another spiked helmet for Todd Frazier, who's been hitting some really hard luck over the last couple of weeks. Thought he had a hole, but Turner makes his second outstanding play of this game.
Tough hop. Smooth hands, soft hands.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of this lately. Don't get hurt. Wheeler right on his game. He's yet to get a win at home this year, but in his last 2 home starts now against the Orioles and tonight against the Dodgers, 5 hits, no runs, 12 innings. Pretty good.
Yes, it is.
Now his 3rd time through the order. Jock Peterson leads off in the 6th and takes a changeup for a strike. Peterson came the closest to getting a run on the board in this game. He had a long drive to left center with a runner at 3rd and 2 out in the 3rd, and Michael Conforto made a brilliant catch to rob him of an extra base hit.
The breaking ball of Wheeler's slowly morphing into more of a curveball than slider.
I mean, we noted when he pitched his last start in Phoenix, he threw a lot more curveballs in that game by design.
It's, to me, it's a better pitch because it's sharper and it's later. The slider kind of pulls right out of his hand.
For the year, Zach has thrown his curveball 10% of the time. In that start in Phoenix, 17%. His slider for the year, 17%. In that start, 6%. So he went the other direction. 2-2 coming. And he misses with the slider. 3-2.
It's the best I've seen Peterson in 3 at-bats. Plate discipline, because usually he just goes up there bailing and wailing.
He's been on a hot streak lately. 8 home runs in his last 14 games. And he pulls that one foul. Max Muncy on deck, then Justin Turner for the Dodgers in the 6th. The Dodgers, despite their recent hot streak, and they're 22-9 since the middle of May, they've been cooled off lately. 6 runs in their last 4 games coming in. They lost 2 out of 3 in Chicago before they came here. 3-2 coming, and he just got a piece of that to stay alive.
These are the parts of the game as a pitcher. When you're locked in a scoreless duel, you tell yourself, I've got to get the first hitter out because the thunder is coming up. So I've got to get an out to start the inning.
Blue on black.
Blue on blue.
How about a little blue by you here?
Oh,
oh, it's right down the middle.
Oh,
Dave
inside
Morales
corner.
called it ball 4, and Peterson's on with a leadoff walk.
You saw the reaction of Mesoraco. That ball was inside corner.
I missed it. He just missed it. That happens.
Callaway just signaled and said, was it down?
It's down the middle. That's where it's
Oh,
down.
please, that's.
Was it low?
No, he's sitting on the outside watch. It wasn't low. Caught
Right,
all the
come on.
plays.
Gabe.
Big league game here. Come on.
Well, the second walk Wheeler's given up tonight. Both have come leading off innings. First one went to Max Muncy, who bats now. And he has to move his feet on that curveball for ball 1. Keep in mind, as we move deeper into this game, the Mets made some bullpen moves after the game yesterday. And now Wheeler behind 2-0. Paul Sewald was sent down. Chris Flexen was sent back down. That's called up hard throwing Drew Smith, who we saw in spring training, and also an outfielder, Kevin Kazmarski, who's yet to play in the big leagues.
2-0 pitch here. It's a big one.
And he missed with that fastball. 3-0. The surprising move in all of that machination is to make room on the 40-man roster. The Mets designated Hansel Robles for assignment. So his days as a Met almost certainly are done, because I'm sure somebody's going to take him off the Mets' hands.
He's got too good of an arm not to, right?
I mean, often when you DFA a fringe player, you can get him through waivers and get him to the minor leagues. I'm almost certain that's not going to be the case with Robles. Drive around the majors brought to you by Cadillac. It's a pretty good night. Nelson Cruz 3 for 3, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, and it's the 5th inning.
He keeps doing it every year, doesn't he?
He's heading for a Jim Bottomley.
Oh,
we thought Arenado was heading in that direction yesterday when he had 5 RBIs in the first 2 innings. 3-0 now to Muncie with Turner on deck. And that's too high, ball 4. Back-to-back walks by Wheeler to start the 6th inning. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by your Tri Honda dealer. Eamon? Doable 5 straight games with a home run.
Well, he had a slow period. Of course, he started so quickly and then had a little bit of a lull, but back hitting again.
So here's Turner, who had a hit and run base hit his last time up. First and second, nobody out. And Justin flies one to left. Nimmo coming in, took a bad route, but he gets there to make the catch. Nimmo started toward the line and then realized it was hit more shallow than he had thought and had to adjust his route. And makes a nice play at the end to retire Turner, 1 out.
Well, all those big full swings always fools an outfielder. You think that's hit better. You don't realize when you got a nice crowd and the crowd is noisy, you don't hear the crack of the bat. You don't know if it's off the end of the bat or towards the label. But nice recovery by Brandon.
Coming in on the ball from left field is his forte.
So Turner retired on 1 pitch. And now Matt Kemp, who struck out and flied out. 0 for his last 14 now. And he swings at the first pitch and fouls it off. Wheeler had a first and second, nobody out jam in the 4th and retired the next 3 hitters on 4 pitches. Trying to do the same here in the 6th as Robert Gazelman gets up. Peterson at second, Muncie at first with 1 out. And Kemp moves back, 1-1. These two teams have combined to go 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position tonight. Each side 0 for 5.
You have to be careful with the split finger. I know he struck out Kemp on that pitch before, but Kemp has been behind the fastball. Would only speed up his bat if you throw it for a strike. Certainly can throw it in the dirt.
And he picks off the outside corner with that slider, and it's 1-2.
Good pitch.
Cody Bellinger waits on deck. 1-2 to Kemp.
Nope.
And what was that?
What? Did he
catch a spike?
I don't think he caught a spike. I think he just forgot what he was going to throw in midstream.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't stop because it would have been a balk, but he almost stopped.
He just forgot what he was going to throw and didn't want to cross up the catcher. So lobbed it in there. I've never seen that before either, Keith.
Well, man's got to take a deep breath and go back to work.
Oh, it's a waste of a 1-2 count.
Could have been worse. 2-2 coming. Little flare, shallow right, coming on Bautista. He'll have to play it on a hop. Peterson goes to third. He'll stop there. A pop fly single for Matt Kemp, and the bases are loaded with 1 out.
Well, this is a cutter, slider, flat, and just let one hand, and tough play to read here. Now that's Fanny flying out, and very fortunate.
That snaps a 1 for 14, an 0 for 14 stretch for Kemp, and leaves it to Cody Bellinger with the bases loaded, 1 out. Bellinger hit hard the last time up, lined out to Conforto in center. And he swings through an upper fastball, nothing in 1.
Just keep giving him that one, keep elevating with that big swing of his. 179 coming into the game with runners in scoring position. Bellinger, and he's 0 for 1 tonight in that situation.
Peterson, Muncy, and Kemp, the base runners. And Bellinger takes one right down the middle, and it's 0-2. He's all messed up.
Velocity up a tick in this at bat for Wheeler. 96 and then followed by 97.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Zach needs a strikeout. He's got 6 tonight. And Bellinger cranks one. Forget that. That is way out of here into the second deck. A grand slam for Cody Bellinger breaks the ice. 4-0 LA. Well, Bellinger took Wheeler deep twice last year at Dodger Stadium. He gets an 0-2 pitch, and he smothers it.
Did not get it up enough, and it kind of just sunk a little bit. Didn't get a lot on that fastball.
I think that the ball was up enough. I just think sometimes, occasionally, as a pitcher, you go to the well once too often. And I think that's what happened with Bellinger.
Second career grand slam for Bellinger. And a big knife into the night of Zach Wheeler.
Ooh.
Puig grounds one toward the hole. That'll go through for a base hit. Third consecutive hit. Kemp blooped one. Bellinger blasted one. Puig bleeded one. And Dave Island will come out to try and slow down Zach Wheeler.
Take you inside the pitcher's mind there, and you know you're deflated if you're Zach Wheeler there. But one of the things that you have to remember is once you get ahead of a hitter and you get to 0-2, that gives you 2 pitches to play with. And I know that, you know, I've said this before, and people have said it's not the way people think today, is that the 0-2 pitch, you don't want to waste any pitches. Well, I think that's baloney. At some point you have 2 pitches to play with, and he tried to make that pitch up and in. It floated back over the middle of the plate. It wasn't like he was trying to do that, but it's almost like if you're going to miss, you're going to miss for a ball, not for a strike.
Here's Hernandez, who's 1 for 2. Puig at first, still only 1 out.
Well, here's an overhead shot, and you can see right down Broadway. There's the contact, full extension. Might want to come up and in.
Well, Ronnie, isn't there another corollary to that, which is if your goal is to get Bellinger out on that fastball up, and you've thrown 2 fastballs to the upper part of the zone, wouldn't you want to change his eye level, bounce something, and then come back upstairs on 1 and 2?
Yeah, I don't know, change your eye level as much as another speed, Gary. You want something that, you know, you keep pouring in the same speed, 96, 90, I don't care what it is. The hitter will turn it up a notch. Just want, the key to pitching is you want to slow the bat down, not speed it up. And when you are pumping in fastballs, you tend to start to speed it up.
There goes Puig. Hernandez flies it out to right. Puig's going to have to hustle back. Bautista makes the catch. Here's the throw, and he's doubled up. Side retire. Nice job by Bautista showing off his arm and doubling up Puig.
Perfect throw.
A nice end to a rough inning for the Mets. Bellinger's grand slam puts the Dodgers up 4-0. but the 6th with a couple of walks and a bloop hit set the stage for Cody Bellinger's second career grand slam, and it's 4-0 LA as we go to the bottom of the 6th. As Dribble Cabrera leads off against Wood, who's pitching with the lead for the first time, and as Dribble lines one to left, but right at Kemp for the first out. One pitch and one retired by Wood. Now Wilmer is 1 for 2, single to right at a comebacker. Wood's given up just 4 singles tonight. Mets bunched them. They got 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 5th. A couple of threats, but Wood sidestepped them both. In the last inning, the Mets got the first 2 men on. Wood struck out Wheeler and Nimmo, and then got Frazier on a ground ball. But it has been distressing the way the Mets have failed to score in their own ballpark.
You know, when you look at that inning for Wheeler, in my estimation, you know, Peterson was struck out. He didn't make the call. Muncy earned the walk. Hit the Kemp is the one that hurt him. He had the 1-2 pitch, and he kind of lobbed it in there because he wasn't sure what he called. Went to 2-2, and he gave up a bloop hit. That really killed the inning for him until Bellinger came through.
Two to Flores. And he pops one up. Should be playable for Bellinger. 2 out. Michael Conforto coming up. Let's go to the Dr. Scholl's standing room only section, and to Steve Gelbs. This report tonight is brought to you by Dr. Scholl. Steve?
Gary, despite an 0 for 2 night tonight, Michael Conforto really does look like he's turned a corner here recently. It was a really long, protracted slump, obviously, to start the season, one that at times could be mentally taxing. I asked Conforto how he found his way through that. He said that he had a lot of conversations with both Mickey Callaway and Gary DiSarcina about looking outward, not necessarily focusing on what wasn't going well at the plate, but picking just one small thing, whether it's, you know, running first to third, making a good play in the outfield, find one thing to focus on each day that was positive, take that home with him, and recognize the hitting with the work that he does will eventually come. He said that was really helpful, just kind of keeping him grounded and not making him force some things.
Well, okay, that's fine. I mean, defense is completely separate from the offense. Certainly you always want to be, when you're slumping, you don't want to take it out onto the field. You want to concentrate and focus on your defense. And I understand what you're saying, you know, keep a positive attitude, but making a great play in the field doesn't mean anything about how you feel at the plate.
But can it keep you sane?
No.
There's a difference. Tell me this. Is there a difference between putting the work in, which is admirable, but this is professional sport? You know, it's admirable to put the work in, but at some point you have to have results, because that's what it is.
Conforto takes one the other way, and he's got himself a base hit.
There's a result.
So on a 3-2 pitch, he goes the other way with the fastball, and he's got his first hit of the night, the Mets' 5th.
Well, this is an at bat in, I believe, yesterday's game in Colorado. Conforto got a base hit to left center field on a pitch up that he's getting on top of better. That's another good sign for me. Getting rid of that loop in his swing.
So the Mets have a 2-out base runner for Bautista. Jose had a base hit to center field in the 2nd, popped up in the 4th, 1 for 2. And he hits one deep to left center field. Back goes Kemp, looking up at the wall. It's out of here! Jose Bautista with his first home run as a New York Met. A 2-run shot to cut the Dodger lead in half.
A little two-out lightning there.
In his 52nd at bat as a Met, Bautista hits his first in a Met uniform, career home run number 334.
Chip away, a little changeup from Wood.
Too much in the middle.
As Araujo grounds one down to Turner. Short hop pickup. Throws him out to end the inning, but the Mets fight their way back against Alex Wood. Bautista been waiting for that. Hit 2 home runs as a Brave. Now his first as a Met. And he knew it. 4-2 LA as we go to the 7th. Bautista's been waiting for this one. And Alex Wood had a pretty good idea where that one was going.
Yeah, you know he got it over the middle too much.
First pitch curveball by Wheeler to start the 7th inning. The Mets home run means City will donate enough for No Kid Hungry to provide 20,000 meals to kids in need. 2 curveballs in a row from Wheeler. A ball and a strike to Austin Barnes, who has struck out and grounded back to the mound 0 for 2.
And Barnes, another guy last year that had a good season for the Dodgers and not doing it this year.
Logan Forsythe has come out on deck to pinch hit with the pitcher's spot due up next.
Gary, this is one of those innings as a pitcher you're behind, but it's incumbent on you after your team has responded with 2 runs. Put up a 0 up there. Bull your neck, get through this inning, give them a shot. It's part of playing or giving a team a chance to win a game.
Got him looking. Fastball freezes Barnes. 7 strikeouts for Wheeler, 1 down in the 7th. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break. Eamon?
What a year the Mariners are having. I mean,
well, they had a rough go of it in New York.
Well, you know,
4 straight losses now, but a big pick-me-up tonight from their aging DH. Here's Forsythe pinch hitting. He's had a rough year so far, hitting just .235.
You know, the whole thing about the Mariners, though, is that they are playing all
500 and above teams now for about a month. So we'll see at the All-Star break what they look like.
Forsythe gets jammed a couple of times, and it's 0-2.
And there you go with 6 innings from Alex Wood, and winning 4-2, and he exits the ball game.
Scott Alexander, another left-hander, up in the bullpen. 1-2 to Forsythe.
Wheeler still throwing hard.
Here's Alexander, one of 3 lefties in the Dodger pen. He's had a really good year. 1-2 coming. Forsythe grounds one down to Flores, and Wilmer will take it himself. 2 out.
Let him have this hitter. Let him get out of the game. Get out of the 7th inning.
You mean unlike yesterday when they pulled Matz with 2 out and nobody on?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I mean, I understand if. I mean, it would make more sense here because you got Peterson as a home run hitter.
It's a pretty prodigious hitter.
But yesterday with LeMahieu coming up, I just didn't understand why you would take a pitcher out with 2 out and nobody on.
This is such a character building block for a pitcher to get through this inning after giving up a grand slam, get your team back out on the offense. It's very important for your growth.
First pitch curveball inside to Peterson, who walked on a very close 3-2 pitch in the 6th. That snowballed that inning into the grand slam by Bellinger. He pulls that one foul.
If you're never allowed to see or feel what your insides are supposed to be like, how do you ever know?
Oh, that's very soft.
Pastime is at 9:07 these days.
The late Quinella.
Peterson swings over the changeup, and it's 1-2. So he's still throwing that straight change in addition to his splitter.
Yeah, he is. I think it's what he feels as though he has a better feel for.
One-two coming.
Ooh. Now look at the reaction from Mesoraco. He kind of took a little double clutch there.
It could have been outside.
Oh, that could go either way, Ronnie.
Yep,
that one can go either way. Didn't get the call.
2-2 to Peterson, and an ugly cut on that splitter, but he managed to foul it off.
Looks like he hit the plate with his bat.
It was like a googly.
A googly. Yeah, that's right. A cricket swing.
Watch out though, because he can hit those 6s.
Play all day too.
Again, the 2-2, and he pops one foul off the right side. Zach at 112 pitches. That's a season high. Most he's thrown in his career is 120. That was back before the Tommy John surgery in 2014. Seventh pitch of the at bat coming to Peterson. And he pulls that one foul.
Broke his bat again? No, I guess not. I thought he got.
Sounded like it, didn't it?
Sure did.
Slider running in on him.
A fastball in, slider in. It's got to open up that outside part of the plate for either a paint fastball or the split. And it did break his bat, but he didn't figure it out till now.
Yeah.
Don't you hitters know that all the
right
away?
Yes.
Come on.
You know when you break your bat, you don't go up there and with a.
The young kid brought out. You broke your bat, dude. Come on. What are you thinking?
We all heard it.
Tonto.
Look at Roberts. Hey, Roberts is laughing
like sly smile. Dave Roberts, who took his team to the 7th game of the World Series last year. Quite a season for the Dodgers. Had one of the greatest stretches in the middle of the season that any team's ever had. New bat in hand. Peterson awaits the 8th pitch of the at bat from Wheeler. And he lifts one to left center. Well hit. Nimmo back. He's got room. And he reels it in to retire the side. Wheeler goes back out for the 7th and throws a 1-2-3 inning. Stretch time at Citi Field. Mets down by a deuce. Tri-State dealers, Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. There's your Mets box score presented by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Jose Bautista, his first home run as a Met, accounting for the 2 Met runs. Their only extra base hit of the night. 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. And the left-hander Scott Alexander comes on for the Dodgers.
Well, you see his 30 games. One of those was his start in his 100th game of his career. Appeared in 58 games last year for the Kansas City Royals. He is a ground ball specialist. Great sinker.
Ahmed Rosario leads off for the Mets in the home 7th. Corners in against him. And he takes that sinker for a strike. Pitcher spot due up next. Jose Reyes on deck to pinch hit. And then Brandon Nimmo.
If Philadelphia beats Washington tonight, and it's 6-2 in the 6th. Philadelphia goes into 2nd place. How about that?
Start the night a half game behind the Nats. Grounded slowly. And a quick toss by Muncy for the first out. Tonight's starters brought to you by People's United Bank. Each pitcher gave up 1 home run. The one Wood gave up accounted for 2 runs. The one Wheeler gave up accounted for 4. Now Reyes, who had a nice road trip, started yesterday, was on base a couple of times, drove in a run. We mentioned earlier that Sandy Alderson had his first game of the homestand press conference today. Nobody asked him a question about Jose Reyes, but he brought Jose up anyway.
He asked himself a question.
And he lines one the other way. Puig will have to play it on a hop. He almost got by him anyway. Reyes has an opposite field hit. And he continues to swing the bat much, much better. Sandy's point was that a few weeks ago everybody was calling on the Mets to get rid of Reyes. And he said that patience has proven fortuitous, that he's a useful player. And he has been lately.
Puig had designs on making a great catch with that play. He's looking in his hat for defensive placement.
So here's Nimmo tying right at the plate in a 4-2 game. And he takes a fastball strike. It's been a rough day for Nimmo against the left-hander Wood. He went 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Now facing another left-hander in Alexander. That's first 3 hitters in the lineup. Nimmo, Frazier, and Cabrera have gone a combined 0 for 9 today. Reyes at first with 1 out. And Nimmo grounds a double play ball. Hernandez to Muncy, and he can't make the turn.
Couldn't get the second in time.
So playing way over in the hole, and the shift against Nimmo cost the Dodgers a chance for 2.
Look at him getting there late. Throw behind him. He's got in no position.
It's also not an experienced second baseman. It's his 3rd start at the position in the big leagues. He had, or this year, he had the handful over the couple of years he played in Oakland.
So just happy to get an out.
So 2 out. The inning continues with Nimmo at first, and Frazier comes to bat as the tying run, now facing the left-hander. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
Now, if Frazier goes deep and ties this ball game, they're not going to be happy about just getting the out.
Exactly.
Double play ball.
Frazier's had 1 career at bat against Alexander, who pitched in 3 seasons for Kansas City. Zach Wheeler done after 7 innings.
He's explaining that 1-2 pitch. What happened? The 1-2 pitch to Kemp.
And a fastball on the corner, and it's 0-2. Scott Alexander out of Sonoma State University. Northern California guy.
In the wine country. I like Sonoma.
Near the racetrack, Petaluma.
A little farther north, Petaluma.
Petaluma water chickens.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm sorry. It's Northern California humor, Gary.
I'm sorry. I'm just not up on that.
Sonoma, of course, over the little mountain range from Napa, closer to the ocean.
1-2 coming, and Frazier grounds one down to first. Bellinger handles it. Side retired. Mets can't make anything of a 1-out hit. Still 4-2 after 7.
Razor, Al.
You said it, the Gillette Super Speed Razor. And today there are 3. Light for sensitive skin and most younger men. Regular for average skin and beard. Heavy for men who like the heft and feel of a heavier razor. Each is different, precisely engineered.
Pee Wee Reese, Roy Campanella, Don Zimmer, Dodger days.
How about Zim?
That was Zim pre-62 Mets. No razor needed. Anthony Swarzak in to pitch the 8th inning for New York.
See Swarzak's numbers so far, still trying to get untracked after missing almost 2 months with that oblique strain.
Gave up a home run to Charlie Blackmon in his last outing in Colorado, but then settled in and pitched 2 pretty good innings after that. Next month, he's walked twice, scored in front of Bellinger's grand slam in the 6th, otherwise 0 for 1. Turner and Kemp to follow in the 8th. Swarzak misses with the slider, 2-1.
The thing about Muncy, he just does not swing at anything off the dish.
They say even in his days in Oakland, when he didn't hit much, he had great plate discipline, but now he's added the power to that as he flies one to shallow center. And Conforto starts and stops. 1 out. Mets fans join the New York Mets and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center as we team up to strike out cancer. Visit giving.mskcc.org/Mets to learn more about the K's for Cancer program and your chance to donate. Here's Turner. He flied out to left with a couple of men on. A sliding catch by Nimmo his last time up, and he pops this one up in his shallow right. Bautista coming in and toward the line on the dead sprint, and he slides to make the catch. That was all the sprint speed that Bautista has at age 37, and he used it to retire Turner.
Very nice. Nice slide, too. Totally focused on the ball, as he should.
He's had himself
2 hands.
quite the night.
Dos manos.
Turner with 3 outs on 3 pitches in tonight's game. That's not the Justin Turner we're used to. A guy who works the count.
He had 1 at bat like that.
Yep.
When he got his base hit in the 4th. So 2 out. Here's Kemp, who hit the pop fly single his last time up, right in front of Bellinger's grand slam, and he takes a slider for a strike. Nobody up in the Dodger bullpen, so it would appear as though Scott Alexander is going to continue on into the 8th. And Kemp pops it up. Who wants it? It's going to be Wilmer. And Flores grabs it, side retired. 7-pitch inning for Anthony Swarzak, still 4-2 Dodgers. Is back teaming up with the New York Jets. We're looking to help local football leagues with grants, equipment donations, clinics, and Jets game experiences. Does your league need assistance? Apply today at sny.tv/playball. Mets will have 3, 4, and 5 in the order coming up once the dancing is through.
What is that called? Does that have a name, that dance?
Every kid does it.
I know.
In
They're
every
all good
ballpark.
at it.
Scott Alexander worked around a single in the 7th. Stays on for the 8th to face Cabrera, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Lined out hard to left his last time up. And takes a fastball for a strike. Alex Wood went 6, allowed 2 runs, 6 hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts. In line for his 2nd straight win and his 3rd of the year, unless the Mets can rally. And Cabrera grounds one sharply. Hernandez can't pick it up cleanly and has no play. It's an infield hit for his dribble Cabrera to start the bottom of the 8th.
Got a good break on it. He just didn't get the glove down. Got it on the pinky.
So the Mets have their 8th hit, their 2nd against Alexander. And now Wilmer Flores will be the tying run to bat. Kenley Jansen, the closer, getting up with nobody out in the 8th. Jansen had his season get off to a miserable start this year, but he's been untouchable the last month and a half. We also had Josh Fields up. Flores 1 for 3 at a base hit to right field in the 2nd. And Wilmer takes the sinker out of the strike zone, 1-1. Michael Conforto on deck. So I would imagine we'll see Alexander through Conforto, and then one of those right-handers will probably come in from there. Meanwhile, Chris Beck and Jerry Blevins up in the Mets bullpen. And Wilmer slashes one foul. It's 1-2. Well, we talked about this early in the game, the fact that Wilmer's production against lefties is not what it generally has been. Has a hit off a lefty tonight. Down in the count here, 1-2 against Alexander. And he pops one foul back and out of play. One-two coming, and he struck him out. Went to the changeup to get Flores for the first out.
Got ahead in the count, and as Ronnie stated, you know, it's a pitch you don't have to throw a strike. Throw a little baiter out there. Easier said than done. Well done there by Alexander.
Alexander's pretty impressive, isn't he, so far?
So 1 out and 1 on. Now Conforto, who's 1 for 3 tonight, had an opposite field single his last time up. And he takes a fastball outside. Jose Bautista, who homered against Alex Wood his last time up, is on deck. So this is almost certainly going to be Alexander's last batter. 2-0 to Conforto. Would they bring in Jansen for 5 outs?
I don't know about that.
Well, looks like he's throwing for real.
Yes, he is.
Half swing, and he takes a strike, 2-1.
It's where you can go if you want to strike with Gabe Morales behind the plate. Just up in the strike zone.
Bouncing ball right near the bag. And it's bobbled and everybody's safe. And now breaking for third. And arriving safely is Cabrera.
Boy.
Well, it should have been a double play. The inning should have been over. Instead, the Mets have first and third and one out. After Muncy just couldn't get the handle. Should have just taken it to the bag himself.
And there's your shift. How's that working for you? He took his eye off the ball. Routine. Very heads up, as usual, to be expected from Cabrera.
Fielder's choice, error on the second baseman. And they're going to leave Alexander in to face Bautista with the tying runs on base.
He's their best chance to get a ground ball double play. He just got one that wasn't played well or misplayed by Muncy. He's their best chance.
So the Mets get an enormous break, and we'll see if they can cash it in. Bautista's had another good night at the plate tonight.
There's your defense right here, and pitcher's got to be, I know it's a tough play. These are things that are happening when you're a kid growing up. The game has changed. It's not rote in your head.
Bautista grounds one toward the middle. Hernandez with the flip. Muncy the turn, and this time they get the double play, and the inning is over. The Dodger infield redeems itself after messing up the previous play. Hernandez and Muncy able to turn the 6-4-3 double play to get Scott Alexander through the bottom of the eighth. Nicely done by the Dodger middle infielders. And this game goes to the ninth with LA in front 4-2. The MLB Ballpark app. Access and manage your tickets. Enjoy check-in offers, exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. Jerry Blevins on to pitch the top of the ninth. Cody Bellinger, who has the most important swing in this game, leads off and takes a fastball for a strike.
Probably the only batter that Jerry Blevins has to face in this game. Big out and getting Bellinger.
Jerry faced 3 batters yesterday, gave up a sac fly and a walk to the 2 left-hand batters he faced. Bellinger with a big cut, and it's 0-2, but this cut resulted in 4 runs. That was in the 6th inning on an 0-2 fastball from Zach Wheeler. That broke the scoring ice in this game. Jose Bautista's 2-run homer response, and that's been it. Blevins misses with the curveball, 1-2. Yasiel Puig on deck, then Kike Hernandez. So almost certainly a one-batter affair here for Blevins, with Chris Beck, the right-hander, up in the bullpen. Jerry keeps trying to find that curveball that defined his season last year, and its absence has defined this one. Bellinger pops one up, shallow left. Nimmo coming on, and Blevins gets his man, 1 out. And Mickey Callaway makes his way out toward the mound, and he'll bring in the right-hander to face Yasiel Puig. So Blevins retires his only batter. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. Beck coming in. We'll be right back. All right, Gary, Chris Beck makes his Citi Field debut, his 3rd outing for the Mets. He comes in to face Yasiel Puig with 1 out in the 9th.
Pitched on Friday night in Colorado, gave up a run on 4 hits in 2 innings and a strikeout. Mostly hard stuff, hard fastball, hard slider.
Puig hooks one out to left deep. Nimmo back onto the track. It's over his head and it's out of here. Yasiel Puig with his 9th home run of the year greets Chris Beck rudely, and it's now 5-2 LA. Just high enough to clear the wall and left. The Dodgers' 2nd home run of the night.
Slider. Flat. Got it towards the end of the bat. That's how strong Puig is.
He is very strong. Now Kike Hernandez. Something loose on the warning track. That's why they call time.
I know, but well, first the slider off the end of the bat. Not the end of the bat, but
towards the end.
You see Turner saying slider, slider.
Yeah.
That's what he loves to hit. He's got a slider speed bat. Always has since day one. Nimmo was walking in from left field to get time for the umpire because there was something on the warning track. But what if he hadn't gotten time? He would have been halfway in. Luckily, he got it. Good slider there by Beck.
Chris Beck, acquired from the White Sox, where he pitched parts of 4 seasons before the Mets got him. That's pulled just foul. 1-2 to Hernandez with Austin Barnes on deck. Kenley Jansen getting ready in the Dodger bullpen. That's allowed the lower third of the order coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Mesoraco, Rosario, and the pitcher spot. Kevin Kazmarski just called up today. Might get his first big league at bat against Kenley Jansen. Here you go, kid. Hernandez down on strikes, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
Haven't seen.
SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Watch out for your fingers, Alan.
Bunted it perfectly.
That is Mark Pryor,
That's right.
Dodger bullpen coach. It's a little shocking to see him as a coach, isn't it?
Well, because you feel like he still should be pitching.
He's so young.
I mean, what was 2003, 18-6 with 245 strikeouts.
Ground ball toward the middle. Rosario there to cut it off. And he throws out Barnes to end the inning. Dodgers added their lead on Yasiel Puig's home run. Jansen coming in. Dodgers up 5-2.
The draft is over, and the Knicks have the newest members of their team. They introduced them earlier today. Hear what they had to say, that and much more right after postgame on SNY.
Thanks, Taylor. It's nice with the basketball.
Good skills. Nice.
Kenley Jansen, after an historic season last year, has kicked 2018 into gear after a rough start.
Well, 18 out of 20, but he has saved 16 in a row. So Jansen is back to being one of the best closers in the game.
Last year, an unbelievable 109 strikeouts and 7 walks. I'm going to say that again.
Yeah.
109 strikeouts and 7 walks. That's a 15.6 strikeout to walk ratio.
Well, I played with Dennis Eckersley in '92 when he won the Cy Young and MVP. He had very similar numbers to Jansen.
Mesoraco flies one foul, and it's quickly 0-2. Rosario on deck, and then the pitcher's spot for the Mets in the ninth.
Remember when Jansen, I think his first appearance might have been against the Mets out in Los Angeles, and all we talked about was this former catcher that trying to make it as a relief pitcher.
Yeah, well, it worked out okay.
Yeah, it has.
Dominic Smith getting ready for a pinch hitting assignment. Jansen now 30 years old. He's been saving games for the Dodgers since 2012. 41 saves last year, led the National League. 47 the year before when he got a fly ball out to left center, and Kemp comes over in the gap to get it. Mesoraco retired, 1 out.
Just noticing that at bat against Mesoraco, I always think of Jansen as being just fine print on that outside corner against right-handed hitters, but 3 of the 4 pitches were inside. So memory isn't completely gone. Almost gone, but not completely.
Who, you?
Yeah, his first appearance was against the Mets on July 24th, 2010.
5 more years, I give you.
Yeah, at the most. I hear you.
Rosario's 1 for 3 tonight. And a bloop single into center in the 5th. Jansen with that cutter quickly ahead 0-2.
By then it'll be a 2-man booth. Just you and I will be half a brain. Hopefully make 1 brain.
You're assuming that I'm still standing.
Yes, you're going to have.
No guarantees. Rare breaking ball by Jansen, 1-2. Tom Smith on deck to pinch hit after a terrific last couple of days in Colorado. And Rosario down on strikes, and the Mets are down to their final out of the night. One highlight for the Mets today, a highlight reel play by Michael Conforto.
This was a bolt off the bat of Jock Peterson with a runner on third base. Just had a run written all over it, and just a beautiful, beautiful catch. That was in the 3rd inning.
Now Dominic Smith will try and keep it going. Dom was 5 for 7 over the last 2 days in Colorado. 3 hits on Wednesday, 2 hits off the bench yesterday. And he takes the pitch high from Jansen, ball 1.
You can notice that Jansen has a couple of moves to the plate. He has the one which is kind of a regular motion.
Yep.
And then he has one where he just hangs that leg for an extra second.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe trying to do a little
Kershaw
thing.
Just a little delay to upset the hitter's timing.
You got the quick pitch, you got the slow pitch. Speaking of slow pitching, Pedro Baez is safely on the DL. 1-1 to Smith. DeGrom against Kershaw tomorrow night. And now the Mets are down to their final strike. We'll be back with you on picks on Sunday for the final game of the series. And then back on SNY Monday for the first game of the Pirates series. Mets won 3 in a row between Arizona and Colorado, now on the precipice of a 4th straight loss. And Smith takes strike 3 called, and that'll do it. Jansen with a 1-2-3 ninth with a couple of strikeouts. Cody Bellinger's grand slam is plenty for the Dodgers on this night as the Mets lose their 4th straight and their 23rd in their last 30 games to fall to 11 games under 500 for the first time this year as the Dodgers win 5-2.
You know, it really came down to home runs. Zach Wheeler and Alex Wood were hitched up in a pitcher's duel, and Zach blinked first. Got out of a jam in the 4th inning, but couldn't in the 6th, and ended up giving up the grand slam to Cody Bellinger.
And the Mets coming down to sea level. Had a little tough time outside the home run from Batista, his first as a Met. Failed to score a lot of runs today. A lot of that due to the good pitching.
Game summary presented by Fidelis Care. Mets falling 11 under for the first time since the end of last year as the Dodgers take the opener of this 3-game weekend series, and they beat the Mets for the 10th straight time. 5-2 the final. More from Citi Field coming right up.